The decade between 20 AD and 30 AD began with a mystery that shocked the Roman Empire. Rome was at the height of its power. Its armies guarded vast frontiers, its merchants controlled important trade routes, and its cities were among the largest in the world. Yet behind the appearance of stability, a secret was spreading through the empire. One of Rome's most admired men had died under mysterious circumstances, and many people refused to believe that his death was natural. That man was Germanicus. Germanicus was more than a military commander. He was a hero. Roman soldiers admired him, ordinary citizens loved him, and many believed that one day he would become emperor. His victories in Germania had restored Roman confidence after years of humiliation. He was young, charismatic, intelligent, and widely respected throughout the empire. In many ways, he represented Rome's future. However, in 19 AD, shortly before this period began, Germanicus died unexpectedly while serving in the eastern provinces. Officially, his death was blamed on illness, but rumors quickly spread across the empire. Some believed that he had been poisoned. Others suspected a political conspiracy. The mystery surrounding his death became one of the most discussed topics in Rome. As the years passed, the questions only grew stronger. Who benefited from Germanicus's death? Was it really natural? Or had someone removed Rome's most popular leader? Although no definitive answer was ever proven, the mystery became a permanent part of Roman history. At the center of the empire stood Emperor Tiberius. After succeeding Augustus, Tiberius ruled one of the largest and most powerful states on earth. He was an experienced administrator and military leader, but he lacked the popularity of Germanicus. Many Romans compared the two men, often in ways that favored the deceased general. This comparison created political tension. Supporters of Germanicus mourned his loss, while Tiberius faced increasing suspicion from some members of Roman society. Ancient historians would later debate whether the emperor had any connection to the events surrounding Germanicus's death. While political rumors spread through Rome, life across the empire continued. The city of Rome remained the center of government and commerce. Massive public buildings dominated the skyline, while merchants filled markets with goods arriving from distant provinces. Grain from Egypt fed large populations, and ships constantly moved across the Mediterranean. Further east, Antioch became one of the most important cities of the Roman world. Located near major trade routes, it connected the Mediterranean with the Middle East. Merchants, travelers, soldiers, and officials passed through its streets every day. Alexandria also remained one of the greatest cities on earth. Its harbor handled enormous amounts of trade, while its scholars preserved knowledge from different civilizations. Goods from Africa, Arabia, India, and beyond reached its markets. As Rome managed its affairs, another major civilization continued flourishing in Asia. China's Han Dynasty remained among the most advanced societies in the world. Government officials administered vast territories through a sophisticated bureaucracy. Agriculture supported millions of people, while trade connected China with Central Asia. Silk remained one of the most valuable products in the ancient world. Roman elites paid enormous sums for Chinese silk, even though most had little understanding of where it came from. Long-distance trade routes carried luxury goods across deserts, mountains, and foreign kingdoms before reaching Roman markets. Meanwhile, in the eastern provinces of the Roman Empire, new religious and cultural movements quietly developed. Most people living at the time paid little attention to these movements. They seemed small and insignificant compared to imperial politics and military affairs. Yet some of them would eventually change world history. For now, however, the mystery of Germanicus remained one of the empire's greatest unanswered questions. Years after his death, discussions continued in Roman homes, military camps, and government circles. Many believed that the truth had never been revealed. Some claimed that powerful figures had hidden evidence. Others argued that rumors had grown larger than reality. Whatever the truth, Germanicus's death created an atmosphere of uncertainty that influenced Roman politics throughout the decade. As the 20s AD progressed, the empire remained powerful and prosperous, yet beneath its strength lay growing political tensions, hidden rivalries, and unanswered questions. And somewhere within those unanswered questions was a mystery that refused to disappear. As the decade continued, the mystery surrounding Germanicus refused to fade away. His death had occurred years earlier, yet throughout the Roman Empire people continued discussing it. Roman citizens, senators, military officers, and even ordinary soldiers wondered whether the truth had ever been revealed. Germanicus had been one of the most beloved figures in the empire, and many found it difficult to accept that such a powerful and popular man could simply die from illness. Rumors spread from city to city, growing larger with every retelling. Some claimed that political enemies had arranged his death, while others believed that the entire story was built upon suspicion and grief rather than evidence. Whatever the truth may have been, the mystery became one of the defining stories of the age. For Emperor Tiberius, these rumors created a difficult situation. Although there was no proven evidence connecting him to Germanicus's death, many Romans viewed him with increasing suspicion. Tiberius remained an effective ruler and administrator, but he lacked the natural popularity that Germanicus had enjoyed. As years passed, the emperor became increasingly distant from public life, allowing trusted officials to handle more responsibilities. This gradual shift in power would later have important consequences for Roman politics. While political tensions existed in Rome, the empire itself remained remarkably stable. The Roman army guarded frontiers stretching from Britain to the Middle East. Trade routes remained active, cities continued growing, and the empire's economy remained strong. Roman engineers maintained roads, bridges, ports, and aqueducts that connected distant regions. These engineering achievements allowed information, goods, and armies to move efficiently across enormous distances. One of the most important cities during this period was Antioch. Located in the eastern provinces, it served as a crossroads between different cultures and trade networks. Merchants from Arabia, Persia, India, and the Mediterranean exchanged goods in its markets. Luxury products traveled through the city before continuing toward other parts of the empire. Antioch represented the increasingly connected nature of the ancient world. Alexandria remained another center of influence. The city continued attracting scholars, traders, and travelers from many regions. Egyptian grain shipments remained essential for feeding large urban populations throughout the empire. Without Egypt's agricultural production, Rome itself would have faced serious difficulties. As a result, Egypt remained one of the empire's most valuable provinces. Far to the east, the Han dynasty continued governing one of the largest populations on Earth. Chinese officials managed vast territories through an organized bureaucracy, while farmers supported the empire's economy through agriculture. Trade remained an important source of wealth, particularly through the movement of silk. Chinese silk was still considered one of the most luxurious products available anywhere in the ancient world. Through long and complex trade networks, it eventually reached Roman markets, where wealthy citizens eagerly purchased it. Technology during this decade advanced gradually rather than through dramatic inventions. Roman engineers improved infrastructure, strengthened military logistics, and maintained communication networks across the empire. Better roads and transportation systems helped trade expand further. In China, administrative methods and agricultural management continued improving, helping support population growth and economic stability. These developments may not have seemed revolutionary at the time, but they helped strengthen the foundations of major civilizations. Another important development during this period occurred in the eastern regions of the Roman Empire. Small religious communities and new teachings began attracting followers. At the time, these movements appeared relatively minor compared to the great political events of the age. Most Roman officials paid little attention to them. However, historians would later recognize that some of these developments would eventually influence the course of world history in ways few people could have imagined. As the decade approached 30 AD, the Roman Empire remained powerful, wealthy, and largely peaceful. Yet beneath this stability, important changes were taking place. Political rivalries continued behind the scenes. Questions surrounding Germanicus's death remained unanswered. Trust in leadership was not as strong as it had been during the days of Augustus. Although Rome remained dominant, the empire was slowly entering a new phase of its history. The mystery of Germanicus ultimately became larger than the man himself. It represented uncertainty within the Roman political system. It raised questions about power, loyalty, and ambition. Even decades later, historians would continue debating what truly happened. Was it illness? Was it poisoning? Was there a conspiracy hidden behind official explanations? The lack of clear answers ensured that the mystery would survive long after the people involved were gone. By the year 30 AD, the ancient world stood on the edge of another important transition. Rome remained strong, China continued prospering, and international trade connected civilizations across continents. Yet new ideas, new leaders, and new historical forces were beginning to emerge. The story of 20 AD to 30 AD was therefore not simply about a mysterious death. It was about an empire entering a period of uncertainty, while the foundations of future historical changes were quietly being laid. As one mystery faded into legend, new mysteries were already beginning to appear, preparing the world for the next chapter in history.